please tell me that someone was able to sit through this Zoom hearing today. So this is the case Maldonado versus Mohela. And if you were able to attend this hearing, it was about 2 hours long, y'all, but it was so interesting. First and foremost, if you have Mohela as a servicer, I'm sure you've probably dealt with some madness with Mohela. But in this particular lawsuit, Mohela is being sued because of the fact that we have student loan borrowers who have student loans that are discharged. They've been discharged. The Department of Education sent them out a notice stating that they are no longer responsible for making any payments because their loans are being discharged. But we know when we're talking about a student loan that is being discharged, there's a process to it. So once the student receives the notice, then there's things that have to go down to the loan servicer in order for them to completely effectuate the claim, meaning to discharge the loan, provide any refunds that is due to the borrower, and also to remove the information from the credit report. So one of the things about this is the attorney, and actually for both attorneys that was in court today, and even the judge, one thing I did not hear them speak about is when we talk about credit reporting, first and foremost, there is no law that requires a creditor to report information to or to furnish information to a credit reporting agency. First and foremost, credit reporting agencies, these are not government entities. These are private companies who went in business and start charging folks to make money off of reporting consumers' financial behaviors, okay? So there's no law in place. And I didn't hear either, the judge or an attorney on the PPSL side state that, like, hey, technically there is no law that, states that they even have to report this. But anyways, to keep talking about this and this is what the Mohela attorney, what her counter to the PPSL that's working on behalf of the borrowers, who basically was just stating these things as far as how the information that is being reported to the credit reporting agencies is misleading. It's misinformation that's being reported, and it's if we have a student loan borrower who is attempting to get credit, if a creditor sees this information, regardless if the account is in a positive status, regardless if the information is being reported accurately, or if the account is in a forbearance or deferment status, to that creditor, they still see this borrower with hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. And if they see a forbearance, what they could alert to this creditor is that we have a borrower who can't pay, or a borrower who is experiencing a hardship. Because usually that's what these forbearances and deferments, unless you're in school, of course, what that means. It means that you're actively not paying it. So what the attorney for the students is basically saying, like, Mohela can put some kind of notation on the account or suppress the account in its entirety so that information isn't reflected and continuously to harm this borrower. Because it does. It affects your debt to income ratio. And not only that, if you're trying to get an extension of credit, that creditor can see this account. So what the Mohela attorney was basically talking about is more or less, and mind you, Mohela has been sending bills out to these student loan borrowers who qualify for their loans to be discharged, meaning they don't have to make any payment. And what was interesting about that, but let me start with the first part, then I'll go back to that. So what the Mohela attorneys were saying, what she was saying was basically that, yes, they are reporting this information to the credit reporting agencies, this balance, all of that, but none of the information is adverse information. And again, the information is accurate. She could not wrap in her mind why, even though the information is accurate and nothing is negative, so to speak, the borrower is not in a negative status, how it is still misleading. Because the borrower technically is not required to pay this amount. At least put something on there to note that the borrower is not required to pay. Anyway, she couldn't get that in her mind. Now, and then to even, like I stopped and I'm going to go back to it. They are still sending out these billing notices. And the judge was like, okay, so wait. So we're sending out billing notices, okay, which is an attempt to collect the debt, okay? And when we talk about sending out billing notices, then we're talking collecting a debt. Then we're talking about the FDCPA. And so what the judge wanted to know is like, well, why are we, how are we sending out billing notices, but we're not attempting to collect on the debt? Because you're aware that this borrower no longer owes any money. You're aware of that, Mohela. You're aware of that. So why are we still sending out billing notices? If we are sending out notices, then why isn't there something that's clear and conspicuous on these notices that's alerting this borrower that they do not have to pay? Absolutely do not have to pay. Yes, this is a bill, but you are discharged. Don't worry about it. It's just, protocol or whatever. So she started quoting, the attorney for it, Mohela, started quoting case law that basically says that because they're not threatening any type of enforcement against the borrower, that they technically can still send out these billing notices. I said, and even the judge, because the judge was like, listen, I need to know what that case law is. I need to know what that case law is because I need to go read that because it was absolutely insane. It was absolutely insane. And I'm just like, I knew that the student loan system was bad, but the more I go and I sit in these cases, I sit in these hearings and I hear this information and I hear these attorneys speaking, I hear the judge speaking, and I realize what they're utilizing, these laws that they are utilizing to bring action, bring these motions. It's wild, y'all. It's absolutely wild. But I'm excited to see. I can't wait to see how this judge rules on this. Hopefully it'll be something that'll come out within the next few days. But then, yeah, we'll come back. But if you're dealing with a discharge, yeah, go look at this, y'all. It's wild.